Alright, we'll go ahead and get started on recapping. Again, I've already got this electrolytic capacitor replaced. Again, it was a 3-section capacitor, 20, 40, 20 according to the schematic, and I did find that this particular capacitor was in there. I think it was in fairly good shape considering the vintage, but it was a 40, 30, 20, and again that one section being 30 that was on the schematic called out at 20, but no big deal. That would be fine as well for this little radio. But anyway, I've got that out as you can see here, and I wasn't satisfied with that one cap that I had to solder a lead back on the negative side. I just thought it might jeopardize the quality in the future and break loose. Due to the solder joint there and the connectivity back with just a small lead that I had there on the negative end to work with, so I replaced it. Anyway, I'm going to start over here on the audio section and just work back right to left. And first up here will be C8, and that's located here. And again, that you can see is right here in the audio circuit on the 50C5 tube. And looking at the schematic itself, let's say 0.01 microfarads. So let me get this thing prepped here, grab the capacitor that we need, and get started. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just use the coil method on this particular restore, and instead of trying to unsolder everything from the pins and take a chance of creating a bigger issue. So snap these off here, leave me a little lead to work with. There, let me get the alcohol here and the brush and just clean up this connection point here before I apply some solder. A lot of old flux on these connection points. So I'll go through everything on the tube socket when I'm done here with the alcohol and get it cleaned up here, so we've got some nice clean solder joints. Alright, let me get that out of the way here. I'll do a few of these online, then I'll just speed through the video. One thing I like to do is have all the part numbers where it's practical facing the same direction. So kind of looking at this, I think I'll have the part numbers here running left to right. I just use a small screwdriver just to form the coil itself, and then just push it back over and then bring it back down. I got something on my screwdriver here. It's like a piece of wax or something. Let me get that off so I don't create a new problem. And then we'll do the same here for this side. You only need a couple turns. Sometimes I'll do more or less. Yeah, I think that will serve me well. Then we'll cut the tails off. Okay, I've got the coil itself formed. I'm going to go ahead and just solder this one side in right here first. And again, we've already got the heat that up and just let the solder run toward it. That should be good there. I'll double check it here in just a moment when it cools down. Let me get this other end attached. Again, the idea is just to heat the area hot enough where the solder actually just runs down through the coil and connects there with the existing lead. And you can see there I've got a really nice connection point. And then we'll have the flexibility here to kind of square this up and reposition the capacitor accordingly. There you have it. Looks really good. Alright, next let's start right here with the capacitor that runs from the center. Where's this going? Yeah, back to the center tap. It's actually connected here to this resistor. So looks like that's going to be C10. Let me verify that on the schematic as well and just make sure I'm correct on that. And then one thing I meant to do as well is look at that. Again, we put a 0.01 in and that's what came out also. I wanted to verify that. So Cornell Doppler, 400 volt, 0.01, and pretty cool. Tiger. Maybe somebody's got some information on that, why it had the Tiger branding. I think that's an R. If you're out there watching, let me know what the significance of that is. Okay, I verified on the schematic. This is indeed, what I say, C10, and it's 0.05 microfarad. You can see here again running from the audio tube back up to center tap of the volume controller, volume taper potentiometer, and you can see here how it's just floating in the air. Attached to the resistor here. So I'll start here with this end. I just want to clean this up right here. You can see a lot of flux and on it. Let's get this connection point here again nice and clean here for some solder. And I'll go ahead and form the loop here in the capacitor and get it ready to solder up. Okay, while I'm at it here, and I've already got this lead here disconnected on this resistor, red, which should be 2.2K or 2200. So I'm reading 2478, so I'm good there. Let's see, that would be under 20%, so I'm gonna let it be. And I've straightened this lead out because what I think I'm going to do is just use the coil method and attach my new capacitor here, which is again C10, 0.05 microfarads, right back to here, and then just use the coil method. And this still floats in the air, but a lot of stability there. Shouldn't be any problem, and actually be better, I think, than the original installation. So this resistor here is in tolerance. I'm good with that value for this particular radio. So let me get these leads disconnected. And by the way, while we're on these leads, I've had a lot of questions lately about the leads, and they do come in really handy. I got these maybe a year back or so, and I do toggle back and forth between these leads, the Parrot leads here than the others, but this is what I got. They were 3mm, the PCX Parrot clip test leads, and again they do come in handy. This particular size, I think the 3mm works really well for, you can see it there open up for the vintage electronics. So so far so good with these. Anyway, just wanted to pass that along because again I know I've had a lot of questions. 2 or 3 viewers just comment and said, where did you get these? So check them out if you choose to do so. Again, I'm not endorsing the product, but they've come in really handy for me. Like them. Alright, let's get the this capacitor in here and get it tied in. Okay, I think I've got this about the way I want it. Alright, that's the way that we're going to do it. So you can see there I got a nice connection there back to the resistor, and as well the tube socket here on this side. So let me get this soldered up real quick. Okay, we'll go ahead and knock out C6 here. It runs, and I think I said this runs to the center tap of the taper. I was misspoken, or I misspoke. You can see it does not, but this is the right value here. And again, it ties back into the resistor here. Here's the center tap connection. Again, it's a 0.01 microfarad, and this is where it's showing up on the schematic. So here's the pieces we just replaced. Again, C10.05 and the 2200 or 2.2K R8 resistor here, tying back into the this resistor network here. Here's your audio taper here, R6, and then again the capacitor that we'll tackle next. Here's this 0.01, which is C6. Let's get it out of the circuit. Okay, in this case again, I'm running down here from, let's see what, the 12AT6 tube, I believe this is. And you can see my lead lengths will be just a little bit long, and they've got some protective shrink here on, and I'll do the same. So just looking here to kind of mirror this same capacitor location, tuck it in here out of the way. I'll probably do this in this fashion here, and then the lead here on this side I'll probably just leave it unprotected, and then here we'll throw a little bit of shrink on it here so it overlaps the other side of the potentiometer. We don't get a short situation. So let me just get this up out of the way for now. We'll desolder that. Let me get this cleaned up here, get this formed, and then just cut a piece of shrink here and get this attached, desoldered, and cleaned up and attached. Tin the soldering iron here. Let me just get it right here on this center tap. Yeah, should come right loose now. Let's see what we get. All right. Yeah, you can kind of just, after you get this hot, you can wiggle this around. And let's see, let me get my small cutters here. There we go. Let me go ahead and clean this center tap position up here a little bit. Alright, I decided to just go ahead and put a little protection here on this side as well. You can see here I'm just kind of forming everything using my screwdriver. I'll pop this back up here so this will actually sit down on here as such, and then let me go ahead and cut a piece of shrink here just to protect everything back to this point. Loop this through the center tap of the potentiometer and get it soldered up. Alright, not sure if this is showing up or not, but it comes in handy to have one of these little micro torches. And just take your heat shrink here and get it back down on the leads. Sometimes I won't even apply any heat itself. I just leave it loose. In this case I'll go ahead and shrink it down, but it comes in handy in these little tight locations. You see it does a fantastic job. Alright, let me let that cool just for a second here, then we'll get it placed on and get it soldered up. Alright, I've already got this cleaned up here, soldering iron tinned. And again, you can see I'm going to just apply some solder there. Alright, that looks good. I like to reshape these too. So I think that's going to be fine, just hanging out right over there. Alright, let me just make sure wrap this lead back around here as such. Again, cut the extra lead length off. Tin the soldering iron, just heat up the area itself, apply the solder. Alright, that looks good. Alright, let me clean up this area here as well. Alright, up next we'll tackle this cap here in the back. It doesn't match the drawings here for the layout, but I think it's going to be C7, C9. You see this area is open. Here's C5, which is I think it was a 250 picofarad mica cap here. So I'll just follow things back on the schematic here and make sure that we've got